Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to We Sports Talk Live. I got it up on my phone too, and it is the worst camera in the world. Not sure what's going on with that. Let me flip it around a couple times. Boom, there we go. Alright, so technical difficulties as always. We'll see how we go from here. Alright, first thing I want to talk about today is there's a lot of different stuff going on in sports talk. We miss football. I think that's pretty clear. You can tell by a lot of the content on the page that even though we have two sets of finals going on, we know after this we don't really have anything. So we're well prepared. We have content that's going to help get us through the off season, thank goodness. And I'm looking forward to it. First thing I want to talk about is the mock draft thing that we're doing with Frank. That is leading the way on this. John, he's in on it. Armani's in on it. Basically, it's a way too early fantasy mock draft that I found out a couple days ago we're actually playing the season out, so I'm going to be paying close attention to my picks. A few different decisions were made during this that I don't think everybody would agree with. Do you think there were any reaches that you guys can think of?
Well, obviously, what Kurt's pick. I don't disagree with it. It's just, really that early.
Plus, it's for an injured player, so
Yeah, it's coming off a season where he did absolutely nothing. But
Le'Veon Bell's like the only exception because, I mean,
still, he's still coming off another injury. There's still no word. They're still saying he might not even be ready. He probably won't even participate in preseason. He'll play in training camp and stuff like that, but he might not play any preseason games. So who knows if he's going to be ready for week 1.
I certainly hope so. That was my number one pick, man.
Well, things I've seen is it's been hit or miss. It's been up and down. He could play. He's not going to play. He's set back. It's still up in the air. It's still early. It's plenty of time to heal, but still early.
Well, I'm helplessly optimistic over here. He's going to be awesome. He's going to be 100%, and by the time it's preseason, but they're going to sit him out just to be cautious because they're smart. Mike Tomlin's a smart guy. He knows what's going on. This mock draft, are you guys surprised at some of the wide receivers that went before some of the other running backs? We saw Odell Beckham come off the board very early.
Antonio Brown was number 2, so.
it's the usual in fantasy leagues nowadays. Because if you got you have an Antonio Brown, he's for sure going to get you like 20 points, right?
Oh, easily. Especially because now with
Besides, everybody throws the ball in the NFL now.
And with Martavis Bryant out for the season, Steelers are pretty much down to, and Heath Miller retiring, and Ben's only got Brown. He's got Jesse James now as his tight end. He's got Sammy Coates is probably going to have to be a slot receiver, so Antonio Brown's going to kind of carry that load that, okay, well, the run game's not working. We got to throw the ball. It's going to be to Brown.
Yeah, one thing with the running backs, it seems like, off the top of my head, there's one running back I have 0 question marks for. The guy I took, I have question marks for. Obviously, there's the health concern. The only guy without any question marks is Adrian Peterson. After that, are you 100% sure on any of these other running backs? I'm not.
No, that's and the running backs are like a dime a dozen nowadays. You can pick one up off a free agency block the day before, and they can go get you some points.
Well, look what happened to Arian Foster when he first broke out. He was nowhere known, and his first start ever, I can't remember if someone got injured or whatever. His first start, 200+ yards against the Colts. He broke out of nowhere.
I think it was Steve Slayton.
Yeah, okay, Slayton. Yeah, Slayton got hurt or didn't play, and he broke out 200 yards, and people rushed to pick him up. I remember I picked him up because he did good that year. I
was too young to play fantasy at the time.
You know what, John? I actually drafted Arian Foster that first year that he came out. It was one of the late rounds. I actually went Andre Johnson in the first round that year.
That's quality.
But it was late in the draft, and I'm just going through. I'm like, I really need another running back. Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? And I'm going through box scores and stuff on my slide phone. I'm using all my data. I'm looking at box scores and stuff on the crappy NFL app that they had out at the time. And it was this Arian Foster guy. 150 yards in that game in the preseason. Yeah, I'll take him. He'll be all right. And it ended up being awesome because they had one of them. I was getting 2 touchdowns every week, whether it be one of them scored 2, they each got 1, or it was more. It was never less than 2 touchdowns between the two, seemingly all year.
Yeah.
There was a game or 2 where it was like that, but it was awesome. And I ended up winning that year, as you can imagine. I mean, Foster's breakout year was insane. And it was just looking at a box score, and looking at the box score, I'm like, I'll take a flyer on this guy, see what happens.
And wow, dude, that's probably one of the draftiest steals ever. Because I think I was in like three leagues that year, and no one picked him up. I rushed to pick him up. I got him in all 3 leagues because I drafted late. So I was top of the waiver wire. So, but David Johnson at number 7. That's another one that sticks out to me. I'm not questioning. I'm gonna say David Johnson's good, but still number 7 over Gronkowski, Hopkins, Jamal Charles, Des Bryant. Like that's another risky one too.
I would honestly be scared to take Des Bryant though.
Because of his foot, or because you don't know if Tony Romo is ever going to be healthy?
Both actually. I mean, for it, I don't honestly, man. But I mean, Romo was a big thing in the offense. We saw last year what the Cowboys can do with Castle and whoever the guy was, Whedon, and they can't really do anything. So, I mean,
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying for sure.
yeah,
He's a little scary, but he's still, at the end of the day, he's Des Bryant. I like him a lot. And hopefully, if he's 100% healthy, he'll be a good player.
but still, he's one of the best red zone targets in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
One of the
And me
picks.
personally, I don't ever go for Adrian Peterson anymore. I've taken him first overall a couple times, and it's been the year that he's been hurt or bad beer. Then I don't take him, and then he goes for 2,000. It's like I just give up on him. I don't even go for him.
One pick that was getting a whole lot of trash. I mean, Kurt's pick, he picked Jordy Nelson in the first round. A lot of people really tried to rub him for it. But rolling back around to the second round, yesterday he took Aaron Rodgers, and now people kind of look at it and they're like, well, that's a pretty sweet combination. I don't know if I feel so negatively about this anymore.
Yeah, that's to get Rodgers throwing to Jordy, and obviously there's more targets there, but still you're gonna double down anytime Jordy Nelson gets a touchdown.
Exactly.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So I think he's playing this the way that he is. I think he'll be fine. It's Kurt's first year playing fantasy, if you guys didn't know. You probably knew after the first round, but no, I'm really not that worried about his team. I think he's going to be fine with what he's chosen.
I am kind of surprised that it took 17 picks to pick quarterback, though. That's a little surprising to me.
After I found out we're actually playing it out, I've been thinking a lot more about how I want to play this. I'll have the back-to-back picks at the end of the second round, first pick of the third round, and I'll probably spark a debate with one of the 2 picks. So we'll see. I'll probably get ripped on a little bit, but I don't care. I do well in all.
You going Brock?
Brock Lobster.
I wouldn't. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna take Hopkins in we're like another fantasy league. Because you usually always have like a quarterback and wide receiver combination. So I don't want Brock and Hopkins because we don't know what Brock can do, really.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's always risky taking a quarterback plus a wide receiver, something like that together. I mean, it can pay off. Like I mean,
Hey, I
Aaron
took
Rodgers and Jordy Nelson
Fitzgerald
can pay
last
that.
year in Floyd, so they ended up bowling.
I know years ago I had Roethlisberger and Hines Ward, and whew,
Right.
that it pays off.
Was it Super Bowl year? No.
Uh, I don't think so. It may have been the year we lost to Green Bay. I know that I wrote. I'm a big Roethlisberger fan, and that was one of his better years. He actually played the entire season. He didn't get hurt. He didn't throw 400 interceptions, but he had a quality year, and it was really paid off for me.
Yeah, I'm a Big Ben fan too.
You're a big Ben fan?
Yeah.
I just want to squeeze in a NBA Finals update real quick, guys. Golden State is up 74-73. 1:45 left in the third.
Yeah, it's a
Looks
close
like a
game.
very, very close game. Good for the NBA because the first three games were all blowouts. So hopefully it stays
About
this way.
about the fantasy thing, who are you surprised that hasn't been taken yet?
Am I surprised that hasn't been taken?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Can I say?
At this point, I don't know.
Can I say no one? I think it's shaping up pretty well. I mean, the only maybe AJ Green. Other than that,
Ooh, yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
it's
the
not.
AJ Green's gone.
I mean, I don't know who the pick is today. I mean, maybe it is AJ. But I don't want to say too much either, Armani, because I don't want to tip my hand. You know, I got this back-to-back picks coming.
I was just asking for like one player. Like,
Yeah, I'd probably say AJ. I'm surprised he's still there.
I think he's still a top 5 receiver in the NFL. So I'm surprised he's
Oh,
still
yeah.
up there.
I just don't like him. I couldn't tell you why.
You don't like AJ Green?
It's not even that I don't like him. It's I don't know. Jeff made
Because
it.
Dalton.
He's like you probably just relate him playing to Andy Dalton, withering in the playoffs, and you probably just relate the two together, so you stay away, and that's probably the only thing it could be. Which is weird though, because I like Gio Bernard a lot, so I don't know.
Yeah, they have a good running back combination up there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they do.
Gio
first
Bernard
hand.
and what's his name?
Jeremy Hill.
Jeremy Hill.
Yeah.
There you go. Dude from LSU.
Yeah, see, I hate AJ Green for more personal reasons. I can tell you why.
And Bengals.
Yeah, because they're the dirtiest team in the NFL.
Yeah, but not AJ though.
No, I respect him. Don't get me wrong, I respect him. He is a hell of a receiver, but I hate him so much.
I bet you love Burfict.
No, I can't wait for him to get expelled from the league.
Who do you hate more, Linus Sweet or Burfict?
God, I have to say Burfict because he tried to kill someone, and Lima Swede just couldn't catch a football. So
I mean, if you made it through Darius Hayward Bay, I don't think Lima Sweet should be there.
well, I haven't made it through him. He's still on the team. with Martavis Bryant out, Hayward Bay still has a roster spot because now Marcus Wheaton moves up to 2. Sammy Coates should be the number 3. He should be, but they're going to put
Maybe he should have
B at
signed.
3.
No, you should have signed instead of Hayward Bay. Ted
Josh
Ginn.
Cribbs. Josh Cribbs.
Ted Ginn, that's who you should have signed.
Josh Cribbs.
See, Ted Ginn, man, I loved him at Ohio State, and then he went to the NFL, and I feel bad for him. He could have been so much more, but he wasn't.
He played when Troy Smith was there, right?
Yeah, Troy Smith, Ted Ginn, Anthony Gonzalez was there.
Gonzo.
Yeah, made that famous catch against Michigan, which I jumped out of my chair and screamed. Because I don't think that game was the big one. That wasn't the 1v2 matchup, but that was a heck of a game. I'm just sad that Gibbs isn't here so I could rub it in.
Another score update. End of the third, 79-77, Golden State up.
It's going to be a heck of a final quarter.
Could be. I don't know if you guys have it on or not.
I have it on.
I suggest Ebo. I suggest finding a stream if you can. I don't know if you can do that while you got
You
the
should
web.
watch ESPN on his PS4.
I'm doing genius. Kids and your technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Keith. One of the other things I wanted to talk about is the Pro Bowl voting that we have going on. Nick's been spearheading that. I think it's a great segment. It's been pretty fun. Across the board,
Go ahead.
I have a few picks that I would have went elsewhere, but I see how they were the leading vote getters for sure. And I think it's just kind of showing with the lineup that we're putting out there that our members are so knowledgeable in sport. It's like ridiculous. I don't see any. I don't see any Patriots on there just because we have a big Patriot representation. I don't see any Dolphins on there just because we have a big Dolphins representation. I think it's been pretty fair across the board so far. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, quarterback, it's going to be Tom Brady for the AFC or Big Ben. That's like the only Patriot for sure. And then tight end. That's like the only
Oh, yeah,
Patriot you can say that.
Gronkowski's going to be there no matter what.
I mean, if you want to make an argument for somebody else, I'll listen to it, but then I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah. You can't really, argue Malcolm Butler, though. So. Or Patrick Chung.
To make them to say they're in the top, that they should be on there. Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I said you can't really argue that they should be on there.
I think it's been pretty fair so far. The only thing that's kind of making it a little weird, the defensive end, defensive tackle thing, who plays where, what do they consider, with the different formations and stuff coaches run. I thought Fletcher Cox was defensive tackle. Just being in the Philly area, that's what they commonly call him. He's defensive end. Apparently, that's what we put him in as. So, doing the defensive tackles today, well, I would definitely have Fletcher Cox in there, but anybody else?
It's weird when he's listed as something else, but they line him up elsewhere. Texans use Watt sometimes as their defensive nose tackle kind of guy, and
We
sometimes
used
he's
him as a
linebacker,
freaking
sometimes he's rush at the
linebacker one
end.
time.
Yeah,
so
he's
their fullback.
well, same with Khalil Mack too. He's been lined up on the line. He's been linebacker. He
He's
won
better
what?
on the line.
He won All Pro in 2 different positions. So
He had a 5-sack game at defensive end.
yeah, that's another one that should be pretty much unanimous there. I forget if the linebacker's already been voted or not, but
I'm still sad the Texans didn't take him.
I knew he was pretty good. But man, he has turned into something else in the NFL all of a sudden.
My own little segment that I've been trying to spearhead, I'm going to plug it right now. Sunday Pretenders. Trying to go through, find some second-year players, and we're just going to predict, were they legit? Are they coming into their own, or was it all flash? So far, we've done David Johnson. It's been mostly a center for him. We've done Stephon Diggs. It was a little more mixed for him. A lot of people think he's kind of where he'll be throughout his career. Amari Cooper, a lot of people think, we're only seeing the beginning with him. And Jordan Hicks has been getting a lot of love as long as he stays healthy. What are some other guys that you guys would like to see on there?
Controversial one would be Mariota.
I don't think it'd be more controversial. It'd generate a lot of talk because it's still, he's a quarterback. He's going to come in, but the length of time of service as a quarterback now has changed. He's still feeling it out. Russell Wilson had great success somehow. The Seahawks gave him a chance, but Mariota, could he step up and be that, not just be a one-time thing? Could he actually be a legit NFL quarterback that has more than a 2-3 year job? Will he actually be with the Titans or go somewhere else? Will he actually be more than just a one-time Tim Tebow win a playoff game against the Steelers quarterback? Personally, though, I want to see Sammy Coates because with, like I said, with Tavis Bryan out, he's obviously going to get way more playtime than whatever he had, like 5 catches the entire season.
I've been trying to find some guys who've had, a little bit of a body of work and get them on there. So we've seen a bit of them. We can kind of try to gauge off of what we've seen if they'll be, players in the NFL or not.
I'm trying to think of another player you could do. You could
But
do,
on the
you could do
defense,
Thomas Rawls.
I mean, I'd say Marcus Peters, but I think, he's already in the top 5 in the AFC, in my opinion, for cornerbacks. I mean, is it really worth putting him on there?
Yeah. Byron Jones from the Cowboys. Darby.
Darby's a good one. Darby's a very good one. There's been like 4 turnovers in a row in this game right now. Golden State's up 84-83. They were down 81-83. And what do you know? They sunk a 3.
Yeah. Oh, another good one, Peck, would be TJ Yeldon.
That is a good one. He's almost been forgotten about, especially when they signed Chris Ivory down there now.
Ooh. You could do Landon Collins for them Giants fans.
You do?
Landon Collins. The Giants' strong safety.
Safety?
Yeah.
I remember him for some reason. Yeah, I'll check out his stats and see what's up with it. All right, we can talk a little bit of NHL finals. I know, John, you got your team in there. What's the series score right now?
It's 3-2 Penguins right now. Back to San Jose Sunday.
So they've been doing 2 days off in between, I guess, because
Well, it was when it was 2 games back to back at the same place. They did game off game, but now traveling back cross country, they give 2 days off. So if it goes to Game 7, then I think Game 7 will probably be Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, so it'll probably be Wednesday if it goes to Game 7.
Where
But it'd be back in Pittsburgh. Game 6 is in San Jose because Pittsburgh had the better seed and a better record over San Jose, so they got home ice. But that Game 5, Pittsburgh tries to close it out at home. First time that any Pittsburgh team could have won a championship at home since 1960, and Bill Mazeroski's shot heard around the world. But 5 goals in the first period. That just 2-0 Sharks, then 2-2, and then 3-2, all in the first period. It looks like it's going to be just, pull the goalies, just play. It's just ridiculous. But after that, both goalies just played out of their minds after that first period. Especially, I just spaced his name, but the Sharks goalie, he just played ridiculous. Just every single save, so many opportunities. Penguins just crashed the net. Martin Jones, just crashing the net, running into him, just getting shots, just denied everything. He saved the game for the Sharks. He saved the series too, because now going back to the Shark Tank, it's going to be, can the Penguins close it out there, or do they have to win a do or die Game 7 at home? I mean, ugh. It's still anybody's series.
What do they have to do to close it out?
Just win. Just win.
Like Al Davis said, just win, baby.
Yeah, just win. But I mean, if Eddie Malkin, who is pretty much a ghost the entire playoffs, finally shows up back-to-back games, kind of goal and assist, just finally getting on the board. Crosby's been missing now a little bit. He's made great passes, great opportunities, great setups. Just none of them finding the net. So the Penguins just got to do. I think they got to play more defense. They got to play more counterattack because the Sharks are good. The Sharks are a good defensive team. They exposed the Penguins a little bit, but the Lightning really exposed the Penguins because those games, they took it to Game 7 and we were down 3-2. So the Lightning exposed us, and the Sharks tried to, they've done it a couple games now, but the Penguins need to find their own way don't take stupid shots. I mean, well, not even take stupid shots. Just get it on net and get some bodies up there, and then hopefully it'll go in. Because what they outshot the Sharks in the second period alone, 16 they had like 18 shots, and the Sharks had 18 shots total in the first and second period. So and they still lost, which is crazy. So they've outshot every single opponent since I think ever since the Lightning series. It's just none of them are finding at the back of the net. So they gotta get better quality shots. Find a guy in the slot. Find Crosby come across, Malkin, Kessel, someone. And they gotta play better defense around Murray because most of their goals were okay. Well, the rebound comes up and then whoop goes right in, and they just gotta control their end, and it will help them control the Sharks' end. It just that's their key. Sharks, they gotta keep doing what they're doing. If they want to beat Pittsburgh, they just got to keep forechecking all over the place, just getting the puck. And I mean, Murray's still young. He just turned 22. I don't think he's rattled. I don't think he's rattled after the first period. Everyone was calling for pulling him, put Fleury in. That doesn't work. Look what happened to
He's
Fleury
played
last
like the
time.
MVP this whole
He
series.
has. I mean, yeah, Fleury led you to the playoffs, but Murray's led you to the Stanley Cup Finals. And Fleury showed what he could do in that one game where he just looked like crap, and they put Murray back in. I mean, Fleury's still good. Don't get me wrong, I love him. Like I said, he got us to the playoffs. He got us to where we are. But Matt Murray he's a future star. He's going to be intense. He's 22 years old. He's going to get a paycheck, hopefully from Pittsburgh. But if not, then best wishes to him.
Who would want to leave Pittsburgh though?
Um,
They're like consistently in the playoffs.
but the thing is they're so built up with. Phil Kessel just came this year. A whole bunch of team people just came in this year. Besides, I mean, Crosby and Malkin have always been there. Fleury's been there. Letang's been there. Trevor Daley's still, he's pretty young. Brian Rust is draft talent. But they brought in so many people during the season and the off season to help them this year. And, that's a lot of money to put forward to. And if they have a season like this, those people who are only on the 1-year contract or expiring contracts, they're going to want more. Pittsburgh can't afford that because they're paying Sidney Crosby a ludicrous amount of money. They're paying Malkin a ludicrous amount of money. Fleury's getting a ton of money. It's going to go elsewhere. That hey, we need to keep Brian Rust. We need to keep Connor Sheary. We need to keep the young talent to build around Malkin and Crosby. And maybe that will maybe that means Kessel's gone. Maybe that's going to mean someone else has to go. But if it helps us in the long run, I'm okay with it because if we don't win the cup. Hey, we got to the finals without our number one goalie, without pretty much Crosby and Malkin not showing up half the playoffs. It's just been a great team effort this year for them. And for the Sharks, I'd be happy to lose to them. Unfortunately, it sucks saying that you'd be happy to lose, but the Sharks, they have a heck of a team. Like even if Pittsburgh just beat the Capitals this year, the Capitals looked unstoppable, and the Penguins just made them look like an average team. They just totally destroyed Braden Holtby, the best goalie of the season pretty much. But they made him look stupid. They made him just get beat. And if the Pens lose, it's next year. That's what they say in Cleveland. So I've heard.
Speaking of Cleveland, nice little segue there, John. It's 90-84, Golden State.
Rip.
Starting to pull away. I don't know many of the players. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but it's finals. I should watch a little bit. Guy from Cleveland got stiff armed, like real bad, and it was awesome. I'm gonna have to find a clip of it and get that on there. I'll get that on the page somewhere.
I think LeBron's on a 1-year contract, I think, for this year.
We'll add it to the Bills running back debate thread.
That debate was hell.
It wasn't a debate. It was more or less it devolved into nothingness about anything.
It still doesn't beat Kenna.
No. But LeBron only has 18 points this game. He's shooting 8 of 16. Kyrie's 11 of 22.
Is Curry still playing like crap?
He's 9 for 23 on the game, so he's not 6 of 12. He's 6 of 12 from 3.
He just missed like his last 3 shots, and they were like layups. So I don't know what's going on with our
Yeah,
boys.
that's the MVP right there.
Clay's playing well.
Yeah, Clay's carrying him. I mean, Curry has the points, but Clay is 7 of 11 from the field and 4 for 6 from 3. So
Yeah, Clay is on fire. So he
He
just
should
sang.
get the MVP for this finals if they win.
What's that?
He should get the MVP for the finals.
he should.
I
He's
agree
had
with that. I
consistent
mean,
games.
there's still a few games left. I don't want to hand anybody the award yet, but so far, I'd say Clay. They've been getting a lot of help from their bench, though, from what I've been reading.
Yeah, Livingston's going off.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you who that guy is.
Of course, when you have Iguodala as your 6th man, like that's just
Yeah, he the last 3 that Clay made, Iguodala got the rebound and dished it out at like 80 mile an hour to Clay. He sunk it before anybody could get there.
What do y'all think about the players dropping out of the Olympics?
I haven't
I
heard
kind of don't
much
blame him.
about that. You're the first person that's been talking about it that I've seen. What can you tell me about it? And I'll see if I can have some feelings for it real quick.
I think it's all because of the what's it called, Zika virus. That's probably why they're
Yeah.
not going.
The Olympics are
Because I
turning
know
into
them
a
living
terrible thing
conditions in
for.
Brazil were bad.
It's not only just the living conditions; it's the water
Food.
quality around the area. The freaking there's just the Olympics. You know, Rio put all this together, but then they couldn't. They're not doing it in time. The Olympics are what, next month, and the pictures you've seen out of the people there from the reporters and stuff like that. There's just trash everywhere. Half the stadiums aren't even built yet. It's ridiculous. It's going to be a terrible Olympics, unfortunately.
They need to have the Olympics in like a stable country.
Do you think it's going to be terrible, or it seems like in these situations, a lot of times.
For the athletes, it might be, but not for the fans.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree with that. It's going to be terrible for.
It's
the
still
people.
going to make money.
So it's going to have to, or else they're going to have to cancel it outright because there's no point in having a non-profit Olympics.
You know, I feel like a lot of times when these situations come up, you get these volunteer organizations come out of the blue and send like 8 million people there, and bam, spick and span. I mean, it's not something to rely on. I mean, if you're a country, you've obviously failed at this point. You should have had a lot more in place.
Well, I think the same things happened with I think Qatar, whoever's hosting the next World Cup. Like they're pretty much having slaves build their stadiums, and you know, obviously the corruption in FIFA is how they won the right to hold the World Cup. But I mean, there's been 10 plus people have died just constructing these extravagant, crazy stadiums because it's Qatar, it's the Middle East. Their summer temperature is like 125 degrees. So I mean, imagine trying to play soccer in that, and they have all these crazy designs like, oh, well, there's gonna have a giant thing up in the air, and it's gonna blow air down on the field. It's just ridiculous. And they won the contract to host the World Cup, and they're pretty much having slaves build their stadiums because you know they can't have their own people don't build anything there. They actually have people from other countries come and help have them build all their infrastructure.
That's another thing. I mean, especially in the Olympics, it's supposed to create jobs in your economy and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know, the funny thing is the game, sports that have countries gonna participate in it are corrupt.
Yeah, FIFA was the biggest thing because I mean, look what happened to Sepp Blatter, the guy, you know, head in charge and everything. There was so much corruption that came out that millions and millions of dollars were paid to have these teams win the World Cup, you know, things. And then, oh well, how are they going to do it now? Oh well, crap, we don't have money, we don't have stadiums, we don't have any other things. There are even talks of moving the World Cup to the winter time because it's so hot in Qatar during the summer. Like it's just
Do you think
so much
that
crap.
do you think World Games will be eventually gone because
I
of
don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're still good. It's obviously a good idea. It's just the people
I
running.
want to see the games like Stings in like stadiums that are stable. I mean, countries that are stable. Like U.S., you can have like a World Cup here. There's
Oh
a
yeah,
stadium built.
the U.S. had the World Cup in what 90, 92, 94, early 90s,
In
but
the
they had the
Olympics,
World
you
Cup.
have a shit ton of stadiums across the country to have them in.
Well, the 2008 Winter Olympics were in New York, I think.
But that's the Winter Olympics. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, still, but 96 was in Atlanta. 96 Summer Olympics was in Atlanta. And besides the bombing, no one really remembers those Olympics, but
That sucks.
I mean, I see their point in trying to not have just one country hosted all the time, but they're giving it to these countries like Brazil, who had a great plan and idea and everything, and then they realize, oh crap, well, hey, the Olympics are next year, guys. Should we build our stadiums now? That's why they hand these contracts out so far in advance. Like, I think they won the right to host the Olympics 8 years ago or something. It's
Yeah, they wanted
so
when
long ago.
they had Beijing.
Yeah, so was that 2010?
No, 2008. I was
2012.
I was in second grade when
Oh
Beijing
yeah,
Olympics.
okay, 2008. Yeah, where's
Good.
2012 at?
Uh,
That wasn't Australia, was it?
Which
no.
one?
The 2012 Olympics?
No, London. It was in London.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
2004 was Australia?
Cause that's the one you get up at like 4 in the morning to watch like basketball.
Yeah.
That's kind
I'm
of the
looking it
cool
up
thing about the
now.
Olympics. You could just turn on the game at like 2 in the morning.
I'm kind of interested to see how the new sports play out. Like, me being a big golf fan, I want to see how the Olympics do golf. Like, I want to see the tournament thing, kind of. Is it going to be a full 4 round tournament? I mean, I haven't really looked too much into it, so I'll have to check and see what their rules are for it and everything. I think don't they have BMX this year too?
Oh, Lord, we're gonna have that in Brazil. Maybe build a stadium.
Just in the slums, just have
Hey,
them drive over the slums.
you're right. I did see BMX now. I'm pretty excited to see that.
I think they should bring back baseball.
Rugby's have been at it. It's rugby sevens, I believe. There's been
That's
a lot of
interesting.
rugby
That's a
sevens on
fast
TV.
pace.
I've been catching it here and there. Um, I think that's pretty much New Zealand's to lose, but
Oh, easily.
we'll see, man.
That for sure is gonna turn into the
These are
opening
exciting.
ceremonies.
I mean, it'll get more. I think it'll get more casual fans interested. I mean, BMX, that's a whole new audience that's going to check out the Olympics now. So I think it's a good idea.
I mean, yeah, the X Games has been around for like what, almost 20 years now or something like that.
See, the thing with the X Games is it's watered down now because
Oh
there's
yeah.
X Games all the time. It used to be once a year, this huge thing. You had to go. Tony Hawk's going to try his 900. You got to be there. You got to watch it. Nails it. No, it was exciting when it was once a year. Then they just kind of watered it down. You got guys doing triple backflips on dirt bikes and all kinds of other crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day it was way better, but I mean, I think it still brings the competition, so it's still going to bring, I think, those extremer fans, I guess. I mean, is it just BMX, or is there anything else like around like the extreme area added in?
There's I believe there's a BMX like circuit race kind of thing, and there's also a BMX trick competition thing.
Huh.
I gotta double check it, but
I'm gonna try and look it up now.
Bring back baseball to the Olympics.
Yeah, that's one thing I never understood is why they took baseball out.
they almost got rid of wrestling, or did get rid of wrestling and then brought it back or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, wrestling is one of the biggest sports in the world.
Oh yeah, they have BMX, mountain biking, and road and track. Oh, I guess yeah,
Road
it's all part of the cycling.
Yeah. What's the one sport y'all watch all the time in the Olympics? Like
For summer?
swimming.
Summer.
beach volleyball all the time.
Oh, I want
Not
to watch
even
that.
not even just because of the obvious reasons, like I really get so into it. And I bought a net the other year, and we were out there all summer, drinking, playing volleyball. It's fun.
I'd say most of the athletics, like the 100 meter, 200 meter, all those ones out there, those are
Let's see
usually
if
ones
Bolt
I
can
try
beat
and
the record
watch.
again. That's basically like me for the past 8 years. Let's see if Bolt can beat the record.
Yeah, I mean gymnastics too. Every once in a while, just because some of the crap they do is just ridiculous. But
Amazing, dude. It's amazing.
and then plus you can't tell, or is that girl 12 or is she actually like 16? Like you don't
It's a
know.
Chinese. You got like
Yeah,
11-year-olds.
especially China. You never know because I mean they've been caught before doing it. So
I'm pretty sure every country in the Olympics has
Yeah,
cheated.
LeBron's about to get in a fight, dude.
You know, flop.
oh, down 10 points with two and a
Green,
half to play. Yeah,
dude. Him and Green are like about.
Grant's kind of like Dennis Rodman.
Oh man, they're about to get into it, dude. Green was on the ground, and then LeBron like stepped over him. So Green started bumping him, and LeBron was bumping him back, and wow. All right,
We
so
need
yeah,
both.
I mean, disrupt everything. I just really got into that for a second.
yeah. I think this
Pretty
year
sure.
I definitely want to see the rugby because I think they have men's and women's this year rugby.
Oh
So that's
God, women's gonna be brutal.
What?
yeah, they have men's and women's rugby this year. That's
Really?
gonna be
I'm
intense. Yeah.
I'm putting on a serious record for rugby.
Rugby is something I definitely want to check out. I always check out swimming too.
It's fun to
Yeah,
watch when Phillips was in there.
he
Diving,
was.
I watched.
Him and Lochte.
Oh yeah, Ryan Lochte. Yeah, he was.
He was a
That was a heck of
stud
a
in the
battle.
12 one.
Well, of course, soccer. I mean, or football, as the Olympics call it. That's always a good one to watch, especially because since it's being hosted by Brazil and
They'll
Brazilian.
probably win it all anyways in soccer.
Well, unless they face Germany again,
Yeah.
because
Well, there's so many sports in the Olympics, it's kind of hard to like pick a favorite one.
the U.S. didn't qualify uh, for the Olympics,
Rip.
so men's is going to be wow. There's some big hitters, but the main ones being Brazil, Argentina, Germany, Portugal,
Basically,
Mexico's
it's
there.
basically the same countries that like tear up any World Cup that win it
Pretty
all.
much, but now they have Fiji, Honduras, Iraq's going to be there.
God.
So, but it's going to be decent teams.
I hope the
Women's
security is high for the Olympics.
it should be women's soccer. Of course, the U.S. is going to be there.
You know, U.S. is gonna win gold anyways.
They might. Brazil's always giving them trouble.
I would have to say athletics are my favorite, like the 100-meter runs and all that.
I always like watching the disc, the hammer, and the javelin, and it's kind of the long jump stuff like that. That stuff's just crazy to see people chuck a freaking hammer thing like that or throw the javelin 150 feet.
Insane.
I think it's
That's all
still
those.
an underrated, underappreciated part of the Olympics. I don't think people realize how hard it is, to throw a
It's like
javelin
4 years of training, and just for like one moment.
for one shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's like 100-meter runners. 4 years of training. If you don't win, it's kind of shitty.
yeah, 4 years of training to run, a 9.8 or whatever the heck the record is. One thing I do want to watch this year is handball. Handball is always something that's intrigued me in the winter. I'm sorry, the Summer Olympics, because I kind of know the rules, but it's one of those games you don't see in America. You just want to kind of see how it plays out, just see okay, well, who's going to be the country to beat, who's gonna do that.
Kind of like water polo.
Do you have an idea of like what handball is? Like, can you just describe that to me real quick? I don't know.
It's kind of like soccer and basketball a little bit. Like I know when I was in high school, my gym teacher we kind of played this kind of little handballish kind of thing, but like it was on the basketball court, and
I think I have too. That's why I'm curious.
yeah, because you can't throw it inside this big circle. You have to like jump in and like throw it through the goal. But I mean, I think you can catch and throw it in there, but you can't like run into like that circle. You can't do anything like that. But it's an interesting sport. It's one of those. It's kind of like the same thing with like bobsled and like other winter sports that just intrigues you. You're like, wow, this is really cool to see. Like there's times where I've watched cricket before and it's like, holy cow, that's cool. And I just want to see how handball like just want to see the Olympic handball thing because we don't see it in America.
Yeah.
I don't know the
It's like
rules.
it's not like one of the top 5 sports. It's like
Oh,
one of those
it's not
sports like,
even in the
what the
top
hell?
20.
I mean, if it's anything like what I played in gym class, I mean that stuff's fun, dude.
Yeah.
I'd
I mean,
watch.
I've seen like clips, from previous Olympics and stuff of like, holy cow, this person just like, but they throw a ball freaking hard, and you're like a soccer goalie, you have to defend it, and it's, I mean, you get hit in the face or something like that, yeah, it's gonna freaking destroy you.
I'm gonna see if I can find a clip of it. I'm gonna do the cheesy thing. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera and
What? Like 4 years ago, I was
probably a way
well,
that I can fit into the
I-
video. But I don't know how to do that, so we're doing it this way. Olympic handball.
Is it a
You guys
new
watch
sport?
the weightlifting at all?
I've seen some of it. It's I don't know, it's weightlifting. I mean, it's just big dudes lifting weights. Wrestling though, I'll give to wrestling. I've watched when Rulon Gardner was a wrestler. That man was ridiculous. And I think there's a couple college kids from Ohio State that won national titles. I think they might be wrestling at the Olympics this year.
All right, here we go. We got some handball, sort of, barely. You can
That's like
kind
a
of see
gym
what's.
class game. Oh, so
Oh,
that's
come
like
on, Ronnie.
lacrosse.
Shh.
That's kind of like lacrosse, but you can throw it with your hand.
Armani. It
Yeah.
goes to you when you talk, man. Come on. You kind of see it. Look at that. Gotta like do a badass jump and throw it in that net. So like you gotta shoot a 3. It looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that distance and everything. But I'm pretty sure like if someone's standing in that circle, they can like you can pass it to them just as long as they're not like standing in the circle. They can like jump up and like throw it in there.
Okay, so like if they're in the air as they're entering the circle, they can possess it in the circle.
Well, I think so. I think if someone doesn't have the ball, they can be in the circle, but they can't touch the ball while their feet are on the ground. So if someone can like pass it to them, they could jump and then just like do whatever and throw it in the net. So it leads to an interesting it's a mix between like basketball, soccer, and hockey and lacrosse and like just so many sports. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean the short clip. I mean it didn't show up well at
I'm
all.
sorry.
I can tell you that. No, it wasn't. It just wasn't focused. It looks cool. I could definitely see myself watching that, and then
How would
getting a group of buddies to
have a beer and watch it?
use the 3-point line as our
Yeah.
circle.
I know it's kind of like with the Winter Olympics and curling. Like I can give a shit about curling 3 years and 11 months out of the year, but I'll watch the shit out of Olympic curling. Like that shit is intense to watch because there's so much strategy, there's so much skill, placement, and for those 3 people on the ice that are doing that, there's so much strategy. Like okay, well we're gonna knock their stone off here, but what are they gonna do next? We gotta kind of plan 2 moves ahead. So it's interesting to see that some of these sports and stuff that Americans do compete in, but we're not like just gonna win it, obviously.
Kurt's judging us for talking about handball. We see you, Kurt Smith.
Tell them to get in here.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Handball's awesome. You try playing it sometime.
Yeah. I mean, if Carson Wentz was the #1 handball player, I mean, would the Eagles have drafted him?
Yeah, he was probably awesome at handball. Let's not take it.
It's on the 4-year, 11 euro contract.
There's a minute left in the basketball game. It's 96-89 Warriors. Warriors possess the ball. It looks like they're taking game 4. Steph Curry just got raped, but made the layup anyway. That was amazing.
Oh, that's the end of the series.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, I think don't they go back to Oracle next game?
Yeah.
Yep, rip.
It should be California, Cleveland, California. So
Rip.
I mean, Cleveland could always take Game 5 and then come back home and lose the series in Game 6 in Cleveland in style.
Only Cleveland.
Yeah. Pittsburgh can't win championships in Pittsburgh, but Cleveland can lose championships in Cleveland, though.
Keith Robert commented on the link for the stream. Yo, bitches, let's talk MMA.
Tell me get in here. We're at Jeff.
Hey, I'll talk some Brock Lesnar if you guys want to talk some Brock Lesnar.
I'm down. I can dabble in a little Brock.
Dabble in some Brock.
Which
I think
Brock?
he's going to get his ass beat. I think he's going to get knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
Is what I
Facing Mark Hunt. That's oof. 'Cause who did Mark Hunt face last time where he just like sized him up with his right hand and just dropped him?
Frank Mir, he had a nice walk-off knockout, as he seemingly
Yeah.
does. He hits you with it. He knows you're out. He doesn't jump
Yeah.
on you to pound your head in more.
He
He
doesn't
knocks
give him
you
pull
out, and then he taps the ref on the shoulder. Yo, McCarthy. He's done.
Yeah, he's down.
But what if Brock Lesnar beats him?
It's going to be
Then-
nothing because then it just means less for Mark Hunt because he just had some guy who was retired from MMA come back
Yeah,
and beat him.
basically, Lesnar's not going to fight again, probably, one way or another.
Because he's still on contract with the WWE, so it's
There he
like,
is.
There he is. There he is.
It's the takeover, bitches.
comes
Bye,
in
I'll be
all
back in an hour.
I can't see you guys. What's
That's
going on?
awesome.
I can't see you guys this time. I don't know why.
I can see you walking around.
Yeah, like always, right?
I'm fucking around, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking Lesnar. How early do you think he gets knocked out?
What? Oh,
How
there you
early
go.
do you think Lesnar gets knocked out?
I'm taking under a minute.
Under a minute?
Yeah, I think the first shot that Mark Hunt lands as clean puts him out. I mean, all right. I guess we'll get right into it. Why not? Here's the thing. Here's the deal. Lesnar, I think he's 38 years old. He's had tons of injuries, obviously from MMA, from pro wrestling, from football, from being a big steroid head, all this stuff. So that obviously at 38 years old is taking a toll on him. But on top of that, I mean, looking back to where he was never a good striker. He got outstruck by Alistair Overeem. He got outstruck by Shane Conran. He got outstruck by Cain Velasquez. And then you're going to take almost 5 years off. I mean, think about this. 5 years ago, Armani was in kindergarten. You know what I mean?
What was I in 5 years? I was in sixth grade, I think.
Yeah, and now he's going to come back and he's going to fight a guy that's, probably I mean, he's definitely ranked in the top 10, probably ranked 6th or 7th in the official Sports Talk rankings that'll be coming out this weekend, either tomorrow or the next day. It's a little teaser. We got a couple extra guys helping us out this time, so that's cool. He crawled up. He almost got knocked out. I mean, he got knocked out by Cain Velasquez. Almost got knocked out by Shane Conran. Got knocked out by Alistair Overeem. And now he's going to go against a guy who's a better striker than all three of them. And he hasn't fought in 4.5 years. I hear people saying, well, he might be able to take Mark Hunt down. Mark Hunt has, he's a much better takedown defense than when he was fighting Fedor. And then on top of that, he's been knocking out the best guys in the world for the last 4.5 years. Not fighting John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, Ebo and I were just talking about his ferocious right hand on Frank Mir. And
Yeah,
I love how after he knocks somebody out, like he knows when they're out. Like he doesn't pounce on them when he doesn't have to. It's just he nails them and then he taps John McCarthy on the shoulder, like, hey, he's done.
His knockout of Roy Nelson is one of the best knockouts you'll ever see.
Roy Nelson.
Yeah. I think the thing about the Frank Mir match, was the cool thing is what Frank Mir said was that when he fought Mark Hunt, that he's fought, the best of the best. He said he's never been hit that hard, and he was not even knocked out. He was just, put down, and just from the pure shot of it, he was done. He knew he was done. He didn't argue with the referee. He didn't argue, hey, I was knocked out cold. He didn't want to get hit again. and I mean, for the UFC, the good of the UFC, I think it'd probably be better for them if Lesnar won, obviously, because he's a much bigger draw. He's the biggest draw in the history of the UFC. But I mean, for the WWF angle, I could see where they're going. I guess they want, supposedly Paige Van Zant is going to come in, maybe do a SummerSlam. Whenever I don't follow WWF wrestling, but whenever that is. And I know they're talking about they want Ronda Rousey for WrestleMania, so that could, that's an angle why they could be like Lesnar. But one thing I was thinking about that I've not heard a lot of people say is Mark Hunt is 40-something years old. He's in the early 40s. He's not going to be doing this forever. They might be looking at it this way: if Mark Hunt knocks out Brock Lesnar, you could have this big Samoan dude who knocked out Brock Lesnar that goes into the MMA. I mean, it goes from MMA to WWF, and that'd be a pretty good storyline to sell them. They could have some manager come out saying the guy who knocked out Brock Lesnar in a minute, is Brock Lesnar's the champion kind of thing.
That's an interesting thought, Keith. That makes a lot of sense because his whole time in WWE, he's been like this big indestructible guy. Like he doesn't lose clean to anybody. If he loses, he hit somebody with a chair and got disqualified or something like that. So they make him out to be this indestructible guy. So if Hunt knocks him out, then if Hunt wants to do it, then they really have a workable angle. And plus, he's Samoan, so I guarantee he's got blood in WWE. He knows somebody in there.
Yeah, Samoan Joe.
There's Samoa Joe, The Rock's Samoan. He's got cousins all over
Roman
the place.
Reigns.
They're all Samoans.
Jimmy Snuka, was he Samoan?
Superfly Snuka, I believe he was Samoan.
Yeah, he was a tribe now.
And, his daughter is actually in there. So there's a huge bloodline that he could tap into.
Yeah. So I mean, that's definitely a I don't know, one of my theories. That could be a guy called it first. I mean, it's probably. I'm not betting on it, but just something I thought about one day.
That's totally a cool theory, dude. Like, I can see that happening. I think it'd be good for both parties.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, it could work both ways. I mean, if the UFC has a guy, he just fought, and they say, hey, SummerSlam's coming up in a month. You're not going to fight for 3 months. Hey, we're going to send you over to WWF. You're going to become a bigger star, like a CM. I mean, why CM Punk? Why did that make news that he's coming out? Because he's a WWF backing wrestler. If he was just a 0-0 fighter who came to the UFC like Mickey Gall did, there'd be no hype. No one know who he is. So for UFC fighters, if they want to go do fake wrestling, it's good for their brand. It exposes them to so many more people, which also exposes the whole sport. There'd be a bunch of kids and adults who watch WWF wrestling that comes over, watches the real stuff, and say, "Wow, this stuff is awesome." And then on the flip side, maybe
you can do marketing with gaming now, since they have both video games.
Yeah, and the thing about WWF that their benefit is they can bring in stars that they didn't spend their money on to promote. I mean, how did John Cena become a star? Because WWF and Vince McMahon and all those people, they spent loads of money on this guy promoting. I mean, it's not. And why would they do that when UFC has already promoted the guys? UFC has already made Ronda Rousey a huge star. So now WWF can come in and benefit off of it. So it really is a partnership that can actually work. I mean, I don't know if Vince McMahon and Dana White, it really is Lorenzo Fertitta, if they're egos could be put aside. But you know what? When it comes to making money, see what happens.
Now they do have in WWE's developmental brand, they do have a girl down there who has some MMA experience, and a lot of her in-ring style is, submissions and different MMA strikes and stuff like that. So I think you're on the right track with that. There's more of an avenue to take for this than I really ever stopped to think about.
I listened to someone today not today, a couple of days ago, say that signing Brock Lesnar to UFC 200, the UFC is expecting to get an additional $250,000 to $500,000 buys. So,
yeah, I mean, I was with a group of people. I said, "Oh, dude, Lesnar's coming to UFC," and they're like, "Yeah, I'll watch that." And I was like, "So, boom, sold already."
Brings the casual fan.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
if you say you put it on the high side, say he brings in $500,000 views, that is equivalent to probably the buys of Rockhold versus Bisping this past week. I mean, probably not. I think they probably did a little higher, but pretty close. I mean, I'm assuming the numbers will come out. Bisping and Rockhold will probably do 650, maybe 700, but Lesnar alone will bring in 5 just by himself. And that's additional fans. That's not counting the people that's already going to buy.
I wonder how much Lesnar will get paid for this fight.
I've been hearing $3 million, but I'm really surprised. I expect
it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more.
Yeah, I feel like it's more too.
Well, I know Conor McGregor made, they say, in $10 million for the last fight, and so I'm assuming at least about that. And I'm assuming they probably give him a huge win bonus too. So I could see it being something like $10 million to show and $5 million to win. But he's gonna get. I'm sure he probably has. I mean, I know it. He's gonna have pay-per-view buys. No, he's gonna get $3 off every pay-per-view buy, up to a certain number. When he gets to another number, it's gonna be up to $5 pay-per-view buy. Then he gets up to a higher number, it'll be up to $7 a pay-per-view buy. So I mean, a lot of times, see, here's the thing. A lot of guys, they talk about like boxing and MMA, and they talk about. I gotta stop walking because I know people say that annoys them. Sorry. A lot of guys, they compare the buys. The problem is the boxes is a disclosed price, and it's actually before they pay management and they pay their team and all this. Well, MMA is only their purse. It doesn't talk about their win bonuses. It doesn't talk about backstage bonus. It doesn't talk about sponsorships. It doesn't talk about their pay-per-view shares, which is the big one. All you gotta do is look at, if you, other than Mayweather and Pacquiao and any big name that fought those guys, but if you take like a Klitschko or a
Canelo.
Kovalov or GGG, all these guys, the biggest stars of boxing right now, their net worth is just as much as, I mean, is the same amount as the top MMA guys. But if you look at a guy like, say, take Klitschko versus St. Pierre, I think Klitschko is worth like $25 million, and St. Pierre is worth $20 million. But Klitschko has fought like 70 times. St. Pierre has fought like 30 times. So if you break down their per fight, St. Pierre makes actually a lot more than Klitschko did. And if you pretty much do with all the boxes, it's that way.
Yeah, I know I've seen when you and McKay have been going back and forth with each other. I know I've seen that argument. That per fight it's not even close.
Yeah, MMA guys get paid more. I mean, you figure like someone like Ronda Rousey, I think she's had 13 fights. You find me a boxer that's worth $15 million on 13 fights.
I can't name one on the top of my head.
No, I mean the top boxers, before they even get a name, they got to be 20-0, 20-0, 22-0, 25-0. You know.
So with this, Keith?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Your picture cut out. So.
Yeah.
So who am I beefing with today?
I don't know. Are you a Golden State just beat Cleveland again?
Yeah, I'm rooting for Golden State.
3-1 lead.
Chris, what do you think about the mock draft?
I think I'm whooping everyone's ass.
How do you think Coach doing?
Huh?
How do you think Coach is doing?
He's still in the league.
Yeah, he's in his
I
thing now
thought
too. There he is.
I thought we kicked him out after his 2 picks.
Yeah. You like my second pick, Keith. All
All right.
made sense after that second pick.
But you know what? The one thing I've learned about mock drafts, fantasy, at the end, it's all about predicting the future, and none of us have a clue. I mean,
No.
right
Dude,
now,
especially now it's June.
oh yeah. Yeah, all of a sudden, I just took Devontae Freeman. He was the -- 1 scorer in the league last year for running backs. I got him in the second round. I was pretty happy with that. And in a month from now, you find out he gained 15 pounds, and now Tevin Coleman's getting all the carries. And I just drafted a backup running back in the second.
Happen.
You know,
That's exactly what I think is going to happen.
Basically, Eddie Lacy.
I mean, I'm one. It's so early, but I just learned that I'm ingrained from being an old school fantasy guy to always go get the running backs. I had pick 11, and at pick 11, people started oh, Ezekiel. I get to the point where, you know what, they're like, oh, that's a pretty risky pick. I'm at pick 11. Everybody's risky. I don't have the Adrian Peterson show. I got pick 11. You know what I mean?
Dude, I have one running back with 0 question marks in fantasy this year, and it's Adrian Peterson. I mean, Bell, we don't know how he's going to come back from his injury.
Yeah.
David Johnson, he had a couple really good weeks last year. You know,
Lynch retired. There's
look,
AP is the only running back, that's for sure.
yeah, Marshawn retired. It's
Because if you think of the
it's
Patriots, they have like a new running back every week.
But think about what we just said. Adrian Peterson is the only sure thing, and 2 years ago he played 1 game.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So I mean, is he really a sure thing? Like, you know, on the field he's always been good. When he's played, he's been good. You know, but people forget at the beginning of his career he was known for being injury prone. Then he had fumbling issues. Then he had the beating up his kid issues. So while I would agree that let me see how I say this. I wouldn't say he's a sure thing, and I wouldn't say he's the only one without a question mark, but I would say he's the least risky.
That's fair. I'd settle for phrasing it that way.
But that's how I mean, if you want to say who's the least riskiest player, I mean, yeah, the quarterbacks are.
Yeah.
That'd be Eli Manning.
Yeah, the Aaron Rodgers. You don't know what you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers. You're going to get very good player, not as good as Tom Brady, but very good player. You know what you get. But in fantasy, the problem is there's so many good quarterbacks. In the passing league that it is now, there's 12, 14 good quarterbacks. So
You just pick up a quarterback off the waiver list and dominate.
I mean, I always like when people talk about points, you always have to look at their points per their position, not points total. For someone to say, like me and Frank were going at it over Allen Robinson, I thought that was a reach. Not so much that he's not a stud, but he didn't have a running back yet, and he's like, well, Allen Robinson outscored Adrian Peterson, which is probably true. I didn't verify it, but when you take I think of it like this: if you take Allen Robinson, say Allen Robinson is the highest scoring wide receiver this year, and then say you're in a 12-team league. I look at him versus the number 12 wide receiver. You're the last guy. Say hypothetically, everyone drafted perfectly, and you had the 12th best. You're the last guy to take a wide receiver. You took the 12th best guy. What's the difference in points between Allen Robinson and that 12th guy? Then do the same thing between the number 1 running back and the number 12.
Exactly.
I've heard people argue for Gronk taking him the first pick in the draft because the gap between him and the number 12 tight end is so huge that you win a position every single week, and then you almost have to look at it like, okay, if I take Gronk now, what running back will I get later? And then look at it like, okay, but if I took this running back, what tight end would I get later? And then you kind of add their points together and figure out
Exactly.
what was the best move.
Yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead, dude. It's my first, fantasy draft pick, so I'm just.
You have more, Kurt. I promise.
Listen, no, hold on. Let's rewind. Taking Aaron Rodgers is not a bad move. You know what he's gonna get. He's gonna throw 40. He's gonna throw 40 touchdowns, except for last year, which he didn't do. And Tom Brady still threw more touchdowns. And for some reason, everyone says he's better than Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady's numbers at age 38 is actually better than Aaron Rodgers' numbers at 32. But whatever. We get off that topic.
Yeah, where's Gibbs at for that when he's got to defend that?
Yeah, he can't. I already killed him on that, but all right.
No, dude, like I said in the post, like I didn't have a clue, so the only thing I was going by was what I did in DraftKings last year. So I mean that's it just made sense. So.
It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down like this. You're taking a gamble at running back. Now, if you find a running back that comes through for you, like someone who grabbed Devontae Freeman late. I mean, remember, go back last year, Todd Gurley wasn't drafted yet. So if you end up grabbing the next, this year's Todd Gurley, you're fine.
True. Yeah.
But if in the fourth round you take, I'm trying to think who was a bust running back that was taken.
C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson. No, he was a first round.
I took him in the third, dude. I should have got. Should have never drafted him.
But I mean, if you took I'm trying to think of like a guy that was like in the third round that people liked. That
Lynch.
Yeah, you're naming first round guys.
Think of one.
Yeah, like you can't say
Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller was picked in the third round last year. He did shit. So if you grab this season's Lamar Miller, you're screwed. If you grab this year's Todd Gurley, you're set. But there's going to be, I don't know, how many was it? 8 running backs taken in the first round this year? 3 of them will be bust. 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Elliott.
Not like receiver was kind of like for sure.
there's going to be definitely going to be a Jeremy Hill in there.
Yeah.
C.J. Anderson.
Yep.
Eddie Lacy last year was a hot name. Yeah.
Yep. Jamal. I mean, and then not even the guys who are bust, the guys who get hurt, like a Jamal Charles, like a Marshawn Lynch. They weren't bust; they got hurt.
Like, when is a guy like Chris Ivory? Where would he go at?
I mean, it really depends on what type of league you're in and this and that, but he's coming up soon.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take him in the next round, I ain't mad at you.
Well, if you guys want to leave LaShawn McCoy for me, I'll pick him up on my next pick.
Yeah. Well, I know who Justin's taking, and if he doesn't take him, I'm definitely taking him in the third round because I almost took him in the first round.
We know who that guy is.
Yeah.
NFC West.
I hope he falls to me, but I don't know if he's going to.
Well, he's injured. He's injured right now.
I do.
Yeah, well,
And I'll have 2 running backs with injury questions. That's right.
As soon as the NFC West,
Do I make a safer pick,
right.
or I pick like a Mark Ingram or a Doug Martin, where they're a durable guy?
Yeah, I thought one of those guys would be gone. I thought I honestly was thinking about those guys in the first round.
Doug Martin's like a top 10 fantasy running back right this year.
Doug Martin scares the shit out of me.
Yes, me too.
Yep.
But it gets to a certain point where every pick that goes by that's scared, it goes down and down.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
He looks smarter and smarter for grabbing him later.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I should be responsible though. I have to work early morning tomorrow morning, so I should be a responsible adult and get off.
All right, Keith. Thanks for stopping.
So who we taking next? I said I should be responsible. It's not saying I am.
I had one of my picks. You guys will probably all agree with. I'm going to do another one. 1 on a hunch, 2 on I think the controversial picks are better for the page. So I got 1 in there that I think you guys are going to have some question marks for, and I'm kind of excited to see how it pulls out because I know the guy will be there when I pick.
Let me think. You're a Dolphins fan, right? Or what team do you like again?
I'm a Dolphins fan, but it's not a Dolphin. Not a Dolphin.
No.
Not.
You taking an Amari Cooper?
No.
You taking Rawls?
Yes, he's taking Rolls.
You'll find out.
He's taking Greg Olsen. He's going for a tight end. Am I right?
Maybe.
Yeah, it might be a tight end in Washington.
Has Brandon Marshall been taken? No.
No.
Damn.
Brandon Marshall's the guy that you doubt every single year. You're like, well, he's kind of getting old, and he's got blah blah at quarterback, and then every year he goes out and he's a top 10 receiver in fantasy every year.
Yeah.
Who is the Jets quarterback this year? Is it Hackenberg or is it?
You know?
Fitz.
Well,
He's not on contract yet?
The thing
I
about
think he signed.
thing about Brandon Marshall is he's a guy that if you take him, it's like, oh yeah, all right, Brandon Marshall. But then you could take another wide receiver that have like pretty much the same exact season as he will, but because that guy's young and new, like all right, for example,
Yeah, you're excited about it.
Allen Robinson. When Allen Robinson gets picked, everyone goes, ooh, wow, Allen Robinson. Ooh, what a great pick. Ooh. And then when you get the guy who's been doing it forever, it's all like, oh yeah. I mean, Steve Smith. Steve Smith's that guy when he gets picked. No one's going to be like, ooh. For example, when Greg Olsen gets picked, everyone's going to be like, yeah, all right, solid pick. But when Jordan Reed gets picked and going to put up the same numbers this year, when someone takes Jordan Reed, everyone's going to go, ooh, what a great pick. Ooh, how, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. I never really. You're right though. It's like when you get the guy, like somebody. Well, it'd be a couple years ago now. Somebody drafts Anquan Bolden. You're like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what you're getting every week.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can make a list of guys that when someone picks them, they're gonna go, ooh. Yeah, like for example, when someone takes Matt Forte, no one's gonna go, oh, what a great pick. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, Matt Forte.
Well, when somebody takes Gurley, it's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
Gurley's gone, my friend.
Yeah, Gurley's way gone.
He first round for sure.
Anyways,
I don't like Gurley this year.
I really should go. All right, guys.
All right, Keith. Thanks.
See you, man.
Easy.
Wait, what'd you say, Peck?
I don't like Gurley this year.
Well, you think he's not gonna carry the load for Rams?
I think I think they're going to load the box against him while Goff is still learning the offense, and maybe next year. This year, I'm not.
You think he'll hit a sophomore slump?
I don't. I guess you
think
could
he'll
say
still
sophomore
produce,
slump,
but he
I
can't
don't think
call
it'll be. I don't think it'll be his.
It won't be a sophomore slump. It'll be like he's. I mean,
It's going to be. It'll be like a down year, is how I'm looking at it, and I don't think it's going to be his fault. I think it's going to be,
play calling.
being able to
Or
load.
Sheems.
I mean, what's even going to happen in St. Louis, though? Is Goff, you think he's going to start for real? I mean,
It's not St. Louis. It's L.A. Remember?
oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Rams.
Yeah, I think Goff's in there week 1. I mean, other than that, it's Case Keenum or Nick Foles. But if they start Nick Foles, I don't think
they're alive
going to the game.
Dude, I looked at his stats the other day. It was terrible. It was so bad.
Yeah, I think he was throwing like 141 yards a game or something like terribly low.
He's a freaking MVP in Philly.
Dude, 2013, he was amazing.
Yeah, 27 touchdowns, 3 picks or something ridiculous. It was insane.
Yeah, and he
Verbal,
went off against Oakland.
Yeah, he had 7 touchdowns in one game. One of how many guys have done that now? 4 or 5?
Yep, a handful.
Probably. Yeah, Nick Foles is on that list with Peyton Manning and I don't remember who else is on it.
I think Schaub's on the list
Colts. What's the guy from the Colts? I think Johnny Unitas is on there. But and Nick Foles.
Odd man out.
But that's today's NFL.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, I also have to get up kind of early tomorrow. Not for anything important like a job. I'm just going to go get drunk on a kayak. But I think that's as good a reason as any.
All right, man. We'll have fun.
All right, man.
See you
Have
guys.
fun.
Talk live over and out. Later.